Alright, welcome back everyone. Today's video, we're going to go over fake versus real BBS RSs. We have a fake pair and a real pair. Which one is it? Could you spot the difference? And this video is just informative, whether you're trying to spot a fake pair or real pair on a car that you just see out in the wild, or if you're trying to buy a pair or a set of wheels and you want to know if you're getting played or you're getting the real deal. So today's video, I'm going to go through the different tiers because not all fakes are built the same. So we have like different tiers. Some are very easy to spot. Some get a bit more difficult. And in today's world with Alibaba, there's some that are 3-piece BBSs that they could build you custom. And at that point, is it a fake wheel? It is, because it's still not an original BBS, even though it is a 3-piece wheel. That's my own personal opinion. Argue in the comments. But today we're gonna go over the difference. Show you how to spot the differences between the 1-piece fake BBS RSs versus once you get into the higher levels where it's a bit more advanced and harder to find. This is off my own knowledge of owning like 10 to 15 real BBS RSs and about like 5 fake sets in my past. So if you guessed that the right wheel was real during this time that I was just blabbing on, you're correct. And if you guessed that the left one is also real, then you're correct. In today's video, I don't have a fake BBS wheel, but I'm going to give you basically all the knowledge you need to look at a wheel and tell if it's a real wheel or a fake one. I'm going to give you examples of what the fake ones come with, and as well as show you what details the real ones come with as well. So you're going to get two different, although these look exactly the same, these are two different models. They do have a few differences. This is fully original with the center cap as well. This is a rebuild set that has an aftermarket center cap as well as a leveling BBS center cap logo. So this is more of a not aftermarket, it's a real wheel. It has some aftermarket additives as well as it's been redrilled. This is a fully original BBS RS wheel. So let's get right into it. And alright, now that we're close up and personal with the wheel, I'm going to show you the things to look out for. Starting off, the 1-piece fake BBSs, the easiest giveaway. Even if the wheel is on a car, you could easily look out for 2 indicators. The first one is, for most of them, they don't have this twist on mechanism to hold up the center cap. So in most cases, it'll have a little screw on the side and as well as right here, because that's the only way to mount on the center cap. Also, some of them, these two do not separate. This will look chrome and the center cap will match, the little waffle will match the wheel, but in fact it is 1 piece. So it's usually just 1 screw unbolted and these two are molded on together, and it will be missing these grooves and these as well, with a little screw on there to attach the center cap. That's one of the most easiest dead giveaways for a fake BBS RS wheel. Another dead giveaway would be, because although that we'll put it in tiers. That is tier 1 of how to spot, the easiest ones to spot on BBSs. Once we get to tier 2, in Germany, and I've had a set of these, I did own a fake set of BBSs that came with the center lock mechanism. So you can technically, it used to come exactly like this, and you just put on the waffle. Try to do this with one hand. There you go. So you put on the waffle and you lock it on exactly like you would on a real BBS RS wheel. Only thing though, once you flip the wheel around, all the bolts for mounting the wheel together are missing, because essentially it is a 1-piece wheel. it's just a little bit more advanced where they have the center locking mechanism, so therefore it looks legit from far away. And honestly, I noticed the set a few days ago. I was looking on Marketplace, found an E30, and I was like, wow, that's a good deal considering it has BBS RSs. But once I kind of took a deeper look into it, to the photos, I did realize that was one of the sets that comes from Germany, that it's a bit more advanced, therefore it's a bit harder to tell just from looking at the car if it's parked, if it's a real BBS RS or not. Another easy way, if the wheels are on a car and you do not want to take them off, the easiest way to tell is put your fingers behind, and then you will feel the screws from the back. So that is also another dead giveaway. And now, those are two things to kind of look for. Also, the barrel, the front lip, and the rear barrel, you're not going to find any stamps on there, as well as the back face. Usually, you're not going to see any stamps. With a lot of wheels, you'll see they'll have like stamps in the back where it says the offset, the wheel, what model, and different things like that. With BBS RSs, you're not going to find that. Where you find all that information, and this is how we get to I'll just say the third tier, because honestly, I didn't know this was available till one of my buddies recently was looking to get a set for his car, and he was like, oh, well, they do have brand new ones. I was like, interesting. But I looked into it, and off Alibaba, you could technically order a 3-piece BBS wheel. So what makes the BBS RS wheel a 3-piece is, if you look right here, this is your front lip, that's your face, and then this is the rear lip. You mount all these together, and then they're held on by the screws or bolts, whatever you want to call it. But that's what makes this a real 3-piece BBS wheel. There is BBS RSs or RC. So for example, the Style 5s that came on the 5 Series BMW, those are 2-piece BBSs. So in that case, the front and the back barrel are 1 piece, and the faces just mount on from the back, and it screws on. So just because you see a wheel and it's like, oh, I'm not seeing the split, this must be fake, doesn't mean it's fake. It could just be a different model. So always try to look into different models and know which model you're buying. So in today's world with Alibaba, you could, from China, buy a 3-piece BBS style wheel. So once you get it, it will be in 3 pieces. It will be a 3-piece wheel. It'll look exactly like this. If you flip it around, you'll have the bolts in the back. And at that point, it's like, how do you tell if it's a real wheel? And that's what we're going to dive into next. And the next thing, and this is honestly the main thing to look at, essentially, you're not going to go to a car man and start unbolting somebody's center cap to try to figure out if he has a real BBS RS wheel or not. But, and I do apologize, these are a bit dirty, but once we get closer up into here, oh, you could see, and I did try to clean these wheels need to be refinished. So, but if you look right here, it says made in Germany, and then it has the size. It's a 16x9, offset 36. I did swap out the rear barrels on these to make them a staggered set, so the offset might not be correct. You have the BBS stamping, as well as Germany. Not sure what this number is. RS 025. So right there, that's the BBS RS model. So 025, there's a lot of different models. So each model is different, and I'm going to show you how these wheels are different from those ones back there. So this is the main thing to look for if you're trying to buy a set for yourself. Take off the center caps, look at the stamping, make sure it looks legit. I'm not sure if the Alibaba ones come stamped. In that case, it would make it a bit more difficult, but it's another thing to look at and try to see. And another thing to look forward for is, let's push this back. So the wheel could be real. You could have the difference could be in the center cap itself. So also you could get the little BBS ones. Some of them you could get ones that are fake. So it all depends on there's cheaper ones on eBay. The real ones cost between $200 to $300. So there's a lot of different styles, and I'll show you how the center caps on the other wheels are different from these ones right here. But another thing to look at is inside, and I'm gonna try to capture this best as possible. Let's go right there. There you go. So if you see, you'll see the BBS stamping, made in Germany, BBS, and this is on both the center cap. So if you do buy center caps, it should be just the green and gold one. That's it right there. BBS, that's stamped, as well as these. They are stamped as well. BBS, made in Germany. That's also another thing to look at, because sometimes you could upgrade these to smaller ones, like I do have on the other BBSs, and as well as the little waffle itself. If you see right here, it says BBS, with model number, made in Germany. I'm not sure if that's the model number. Do not grill me in the comments, but that's just what I'm assuming it is. And these are also stamped, so people lose these. And I've seen people run, me personally, I've ran different model waffles on different BBSs. So just because these are not stamped, people lose them. You could get different ones and install them. So depends on how in depth you want to go on if you're buying a set. If you really want a fully original set and you see that these are missing stamping and it's an aftermarket set, then it's something to look into. But let's jump into the next wheel. So also, my garage is not very lit, like well lit, so that's why I'm doing this currently in my living room. But as you can tell, these are a lot more prettier. We got spinning center caps, gold hardware, fully redone. But if we take these off, all right. So if we look here, these are also stamped BBS, and as you can see, we got the number right here, which, sorry, there you go, BBS, got the number right here, which these two numbers match exactly, but on these ones, they are missing the made in Germany, as you can tell. So does it make these fake? I don't think so, but that's like one thing to kind of look into. Main thing you kind of want is the stamping as well as the BBS. And you can kind of tell that the print on this one, try to get it very up close. Where is it? Oh, the engraving is a bit different. So, it could be possible that these ones are aftermarket and they were just engraved in the same code, BBS, and that's why essentially they're missing the made in Germany. But that's one thing to kind of look into. Another thing, if you look at the center cap itself, although these are, there you go, very beautiful. The center caps are real, and you can kind of see they kind of look 3D. That 3D look is kind of what tells you if it's real or fake, if you're mainly looking for, from the outside. A lot of the ones on eBay that are a lot cheaper, when you look at them, it's just on the face. These are kind of printed in, and then there's like a layer of, I want to say like epoxy or something. Something similar to that placed on top that gives it that like 3D kind of look. But that's one thing to look at. And as you can tell, these are extremely smaller than these ones. And these are plastic. These are actual metal. So, and as you can see, there is no stamping on these. because these are aftermarket. But the center cap itself is real. The center balancing, mechanism was aftermarket as well. So if you remove this, the back of these will say BBSs. And you can see that these kind of stick out a bit compared to these ones, where essentially they're completely flat with the wheel. And but now that we covered these two, let's dive into the wheel itself. And you might notice something completely different on this one. You might say, why is there so many different holes? On BBS RSs, they've gotten so rare, and trying to fit them on your car might be difficult. So a lot of people do re-drill the wheel, so they'll fill in the original bolt pattern and re-drill them. I've had a few sets like this. I've had sets that I've re-drilled myself, like taking them to a shop, and I've had wheels that, for example, these were already built when I bought them. So personally, I like it when they fill in all the holes and then re-drill. For example, these were 5x120, and then they got re-drilled into 4x100 to fit my E30. But whenever I take them to a shop to do the re-drilling, because safety is a big concern with re-drilling, and some people don't like buying re-drilled BBS RSs. So it all comes down to what your preference is. But when I try to do it, if you're gonna buy a set and try to re-drill them to fit your vehicle, try to find a shop that fills these in and then re-drills them. As you can see here, they were re-drilled and then, refilled and then drilled in, refilled, drilled, but they left these top three. Also, when you get a set that's been re-drilled and filled, it does make it harder to look at the stamping. So you can see on this one, we can see the BBSs, the BBS, we can see the Germany, but a lot of the other numbers are a bit harder to read. So I'm not sure if you could see, but we do have a number right there. It is a bit difficult to read, but that is also another thing to take into consideration. Also, if they've been re-drilled, that's honestly an ultimate giveaway that they are real, because if you're buying a set from Alibaba or anywhere else, you're gonna get them built to your exact preference. But yeah, this is mainly what to look for. Also, try to flip this without dirtying my couch. And as you can tell, these are flat from the rear. You have the screws right here. And then the other ones that I showed earlier, they are, in fact, they do have this cutout. So the difference is this is just one specific model, and that's a different model. So some will come flat in the rear, which this allows you to re-drill them. For these, I wasn't able to re-drill them, so I did have an adapter kit that turns these from 5x120 to 4x100, so I could put them on my E30. So if you see some they're just cut out for a specific set, it just means it might be a different model. Therefore, try to read the model name and make sure you're getting the correct wheels. And honestly, that's about it for the video. I know this kind of went on pretty long, but if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. Also, I'm not an expert. I made a video similar to this a very long time ago, and I got roasted because I was just saying random stuff. But this is from my own knowledge, just a quick video. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. And if you have any questions on like how to buy BBSs, I personally don't even look at specs, like offset and anything like that when I buy BBSs, especially if it's a good deal. So if you want a video on how I find sets for a good deal, you're not going to find them every day, but it comes and goes. So if you guys have any video suggestions, drop them below, and we'll see you guys next time.